7 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness, the book that changed my life. Strategy 1. Unleash the power of goals. Strategy 2. Seek knowledge. Strategy 3. Learn how to change. Strategy 4. Control your finances. Strategy 5. Master time. Strategy 6. Surround yourself with winners. Strategy 7. Learn the art of living well. Before getting into the book, allow me to tell you how I found out about Jim Rohn and his material. After 4 or 5 years around Europe as a waiter, I started in Sardinia, went to Switzerland, back to Sardinia, from Sardinia, Belgium for 1 year. Actually there I picked up some French. Then from Belgium I went to England for a year, and that's where I started to understand it and getting a bit, definitely better, because there was nothing prior to that, so I really didn't know anything. But that was how I learned English, because in school I wasn't exactly a model. Is that how you say? A student model? Yeah, I wasn't a student model. So, learn English that way. I was working in Italy as a salesman, and a colleague of mine invited me to participate to an HOM, Herbalife Opportunity Meeting. During that event, they showed us a bunch of commercial material beside live presentations, and there was one that really got my attention. It was one on video with very cool music that really pumped me up. There was this voice in the video that was explained with Italian subtitles. Beside the cool images and the sound effect and the music, the most captivating thing was the voice of this man. The musicality of his voice was amazing, was really drawing me. So that night I went home and I started looking up online that video, The Lesson of the Seasons. Life in business is like the changing seasons. It was awesome. So
life and business is like the changing season.
So I looked up who the person was, and that's how I found out about Jim Rohn. Wow! I decided to order this book. In hindsight, it was one of those moments when the student was ready and the teacher appeared. This is my very first English book. Going through it was an experience. It took me 3 months to read it for the first time. I remember I was in Hungary at the lake house, no internet connection. I had to go around with a dictionary so that I could look up all the terms that I didn't know. This is how I read a book. I put all the dates in because I like to track myself. I want to know how fast I'm reading it. My wife says that inside each book I write another book. That's why it takes me so long to read that. So yeah, underline. That's how I really get the juice out of each book. I like to say that when people tell me, "Oh, I'll lend you the book, you don't need to buy." I said, no, I buy my own book, because once that I read them, you don't want it back. But I like to say that I make love to my books. So anyhow, this is my copy. I read it 5 times now. It was life-changing. It was and it is life-changing, because what I noticed is that every time that you read a book for the second, third, or how many amount of times you're going to read that book, you are a different person. And because you are a different person, you get different lessons out of it. I read it 5 times. I think I'm gonna read it more, but that's the geek getting the best out of me. Actually, that was one of the questions we actually considered calling this YouTube channel. Instead of Elia, the Italian guy, we wanted to call it Elia, the super geek, but it's okay. We called it the Italian guy. I think it's easy. 156 pages of pure gold, divided in 11 chapters, made it extremely easy and enjoyable to read. Then Jim Rohn is the man. In communication, in personal development, he is the person, he is the coach, the teacher that all the teachers that are around right now are referring to, are looking up to. In real estate, they say location, location, location. In communication, in public speaking, they say Jim Rohn, Jim Rohn, Jim Rohn. Then guys, what are we talking about? Jim Rohn. Before Jim Rohn, probably only Aristotle and Socrates, but this guy was like the beginning of the motivational speaking movement. You can find value in it from the very beginning, even in the introduction, where he explains that he was yet to understand the difference between merely making a living and creating a life, which is freaking awesome already. Creating your own life. And it ends with a quote that I normally write in many of the books that I give to friends with whom I hope to share this path. Non ha funzionato molto spesso. In whatever you do, be a student, not merely a follower. Fantastic. The goal of a communicator is to make sure that the listeners understand the message the way he intended it. For this reason, chapter number 1 is about 5 key words. Fundamentals. You don't have to do extraordinary things. You just have to do ordinary things extraordinarily well. Wealth, the possession of great financial resources that improve the quality of your life. Happiness, the ability to handle disappointment without losing the sense of well-being. Discipline, the bridge between thought and accomplishment. How much better can you phrase that? It was June 3rd when I read that sentence for the very first time. Wow! Up until that point, I never realized, I never understood how crucial discipline is in whatever you do in life. I've never been disciplined up to that point. But then while I was reading, I thought, man, to be happy, to create my own wealth, man, I can be disciplined if I want. And from that point on, never been the same. Started applying discipline in what I was doing, but even the most insignificant habits on my daily routine helped me from the very beginning to improve my self-esteem, to improve my confidence. And of course, it improved the perception that I had of myself. As you would say, once I got on track, I never looked back. And those disciplines that were so difficult in the beginning, those disciplines that got me going, are now part of my philosophy. And success. Last but not least, success. Each person has his own definition of success. The way he phrases it is awesome. Success is both a journey and a destination. Bellissimo. Success is making your life what you want it to be. Wow. Let's go do it! Success is a collection of values clearly defined and ultimately achieved. By the way, wealth is the possession of great financial resources that improve the quality of your life that I mentioned before. Yeah, that is not in the book. It's actually from the audible version of the book, all right? Just in case you're looking through the pages, only the audible. Chapters 2, 3, and 4 are all about goals. You gotta be a good planner. Be better with books.
This video has been brought to you
By us at
Real Estate Helpful Solutions.
We Buy Houses, Helping People. After 5 years around Europe, this. I was working, and my pronunciation aside, in hindsight, it was one of those moments when the teacher is ready. Not the teacher is ready, the student is ready, man. It was one of those behind hindsight. In hindsight. It was one of those moments when the teacher is not the student is first. The goal, the way he intended it. I intended it. The way he intended it. Extraordinarily, say, good luck with that. Ordinary things, extraordinarily well. Say, va bene, extraordinarily well. Non ce la farò mai. Extraordinarily well. Improve your thinking by reading to improve.